Happy Friday and welcome to today's episode of Friday Tech Bites. I'm joined by my 8-year-long co-worker, co-conspirator, Kirsten Stoner. How you doing?
I'm doing good today. I'm happy that it's Friday. It's a beautiful morning here in Columbus. I think I went on a run this morning before work and it was like 60 degrees, which is like the perfect weather for running outside. I mean, if you have a 90-degree day, it's almost miserable. So, couldn't get any better for this Friday.
Indeed, yeah. I think it was around like 16 Celsius this morning. I had to take my daughter to school. She missed the bus, so that was great.
Oh,
Kirsten and I both are in Central Ohio, and we are quad streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And let us know if you're in a platform that does the comments. Not all of them do. Let us know where you're from, and we're going to bust up the application. We already had some people chime in from India, Poland, and Italy. And we also have Romania lit up here, and we have the ATL. We got one of our producers in Atlanta, and then our other producer is in Romania. So let us know where you're from. Oh, Chris Chowderose is in the house from Canada. Big green dot coming up. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll come back to the map, and let's see what we've got here. So go ahead and drop it in. Oh, Joe from California, be out there soon. I love seeing this. This is great. So, Kirsten, what's our topic here today? This is something you came up with, by the way.
yeah. So we're talking about Veeam backup storage, and I feel like, there's a lot of different options when it comes to backup storage because we all know that Veeam is storage agnostic. So just kind of, a refresher, talk about what's available now, and then also provide a sneak preview of what's coming in the next version, which is really exciting.
Indeed. So, yeah, backup storage now and later, and we are going to interchangeably use, this word storage with a repository, and that's actually a good place to start. And backups at storage at Veeam, a repository is the term. And you mentioned it already. We're software defined, hardware agnostic, and cloud ready. So, kind of, what does that really mean in the market, though?
To me, this means that Veeam is going to be flexible with you, so you can really build the Veeam backup infrastructure the way that you want to do. You're not going to have any vendor lock-in. You're going to be able to choose which type of repository you want to store your data on. We're also cloud ready, so if you think about, hey, I want to send my backups to object storage or something like that, we can do that. But then also, we can, if say you have those workloads in the cloud running, we can actually store that data, back up those workloads there, store that data in the cloud, connect it to Veeam backup and replication, right? And then start, doing some restores and stuff like that. Because I know when we were making this slide deck, we forgot about a repository, Rick, and it was the external repository.
Oh
And
my
I don't know if
gosh,
you
that's
caught
right.
that. I don't know if you
Well, we
caught
ran
that
out of
one.
room. I mean, we've got all these different repository types here. And you're right. We did forget about the external repository because let's start with the definition. The external repository is a cloud native backup. So Azure, AWS, Google Cloud backup going into the object storage form and will sit in a format that is recognizable by Veeam backup and replication. So yeah, you're right. This is the menu of sorts, right? They can be dedupe appliances, NAS storages. The hardened repository got a very, very special thing to share with you at the end of this demo session about that. Windows, Linux, the scale out, we'll talk about that. And the cloud repositories are actually kind of an interesting one. And hat tip, shout out to Chris in Canada, our service providers. The cloud repositories, that's like Veeam Cloud Connect. That is a great technology for resiliency of your backup data offsite, and it also will give you the ability to recover potentially to a new place. Like if you need to restore to a service provider cloud, really, really important. And the insider protection technology for Cloud Connect backups has, I made up a word here, Kirsten, are you ready? 4 eyes recovery. Insider protection is a super resilient copy of your data because you can't delete it, you can't manipulate it. You need to engage that service provider to expose it. So again, so many versatile plays here. Again, on premises, so many options, the cloud, service providers, etc. So, and I'm going to intercept a question here from Diego. Asked about V12. Yeah, I've got a demo coming up. But Diego, we are in beta 2 which I just confirmed actually the other day that will be the last beta. So the next milestone is release candidate. I don't have a specific GA date to share with you. I know everybody wants to know, but to quote Anton himself, I'll say it's ready when it's ready. So we'll get that coming up. So Kirsten, tell me more. Back in the day, storage was harder, I think, because I think we had less options. Right now, I kind of say that cheekily because you kind of started your IT technology here at Veeam, but through all your work you've done at Spiceworks and other Veeam matters, you've seen people change what they've done with backup storage. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, definitely. I have seen, since I've been here for so long, you said 8 years, right? So I've definitely seen Veeam, grow and develop to cater more to our customers. And when I first started, yeah, we had a lot of customers would have multiple different repositories, with backup jobs, maybe going to a Windows repository or, a NAS repository, or some going to the dedupe appliance. But then, as Veeam, the product itself developed, we created more options with the scale out backup repository, really, enhancing your ability to store data in you know, one repository with multiple extents.
Yeah, I think the scale out backup repository, and I can't remember, Kirsten, if that's when you started in 2014. It was either the sober or tape year. I think tape was 2014 because I remember I went on this 3-week tour of like Australia, New Zealand, and Asia. And I'm like, you got to start before then. You remember that? Because I'm going to be gone for a long time. And I think that was the year we dropped in tape, and we'll come back to that. But if you look at like a routine deployment right here. So for example, Kirsten, you hit the nail on the head. The scale out backup repository is a singular logical construct where your backups, your image based backups will go. And then they also basically have a transparent lifecycle management. So if I just met some of you on the call here, yo, Steve from Ohio, nice to see you again. I'll give you a thumbs up. If some of you, just if I have just met you, I'd recommend something like this. The performance tier being the hardened repository, or the VHR, I like to call it, the Veeam hardened repository. And then your offsite copy to the capacity tier, and it's still driven through the scale out backup repository. And we can use immutability through S3 compatible resources as well as the public cloud with Amazon. And this is really cool because you can basically have this double play immutability where both copies doing our 3-2-1 rule, both are immutable. So this is, like I said, if I just met someone, this is kind of my go-to recommendation because there's really no additional Veeam cost to do this. Doesn't have to be the hyperscale public cloud. It can be on-premises unified storage for the S3 compatible. We're going to get to that here in a second, but really, really cool stuff. Do you see a lot of people adopting the scale out backup repository, Kirsten?
Yeah, I would say so. Because it's easy, if you start running out of space on that performance tier, you can just add a new extent. You don't have to go in there and reconfigure anything. You just need to add that new extent to that performance tier. So yeah, I see it less what I would call simple repositories, just and more scale out backup repositories because it's easier to manage and it's really more storage efficient.
Yeah, and I'd go one step further and say that, with the threats of the data that we have in the market with ransomware, we really want to not recommend that first copy of data be in a simple repository in a Windows file share or on an open NAS or something like that. We need something pretty resilient to help us, fight the good fight. So let's go into the Rictionary here and let's pull out a definition. Kirsten, explain what that scale out backup repository is from a logical construct.
Yeah, so basically the scale out backup repository will allow you horizontal scaling support. So you can have multiple storage options, whether it be a Windows repository or um, a directly attached storage, a network attached storage, and you can add them all into a logical entity that basically groups all that storage together and kind of makes it look like there's only one pool of storage there instead of it going to separate simple repositories basically. It is a little bit hard to explain because I feel like what you have here is, what it is. And I wanted to make it a little bit different. I didn't want to just read off the slide,
No, no, I love it. I love it. I'll share stories. You know me. I've always got a story,
Yeah.
Kirsten.
So
And
yeah.
so going back in the Wikipedia here in the history of Veeam, the scale out backup repository was actually built, concepted, and designed to solve a problem of a simple or a standard repository becoming full. It's like, what do you do? Right. And so the thought was we'd add another one and kind of just have the new backups go over here. And that was the simplest implementation. But now there's the performance tier, the capacity tier, the archive tier, there's placement policies. There's also things we can do about addition, removal, sealing, and maintenance mode of extents. Actually, I didn't even put that in there. And this is actually a very important angle because think about equipment on lease. It needs to go back. You can seal it and let it age out. Like if you know it's going to be aged out in a month and everything will be moved to the cloud. Or if it is, if you need to really aggressively do it, you can evacuate the contents as well, right? Proactively. And then if we're not going to talk about it now, but Veeam Mover, this new advanced data mover for the backup storage engine, will really help that as well. All right, the producers let me know that the application is ready, and we have lit it up. I love these types of Fridays. Thank you all so much. So we're going to zoom into the North American region, and we have Canada, we have California, we have let's see, that's Nevada. No, that's Arizona. We have Missouri, or is it Missouri? Let me know in the comments. We also have Maryland representing. I like that. And then let's go over to the EMEA region, and we've added Ireland, we've added Poland, we've added Switzerland. So thank you. In addition to Italy already, thank you so much. And let's go down to South America. We have some good representation with Brazil and Colombia. I'll be in Brazil next month. Looking forward to that. Now, wow, Africa and the Middle East has done very well here. Nigeria, Kenya, Malawi, Sudan, Burundi, that might be a first on the stream. Mauritius, Tunisia, Dubai, Qatar, Israel, and Oman, India, Afghanistan, and Sri Lanka. And Sudan sneaking in there. I like it, man. That's crazy, Kirsten. That's a pretty good map setup. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like we really have a global audience, which I love.
Yes, we do. We do rock the world indeed. Okay, so I want to pivot to something a little bit different, right? We talked about backup storage, hardware agnostic, cloud ready. What was the other one? Forget.
Software defined.
Software defined. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, Veeam software. There you go. But we have a program that can actually really help everyone kind of navigate this. And let's go back to the slides here. I want to introduce everyone, or maybe reintroduce, to the Veeam Ready qualifications. So the Veeam Ready programs are really a way to kind of see what an individual storage resource can do and is really suitable for in relation to Veeam. Because, Kirsten, we have seen some things in the over the years, right? I've learned that you can always find lesser expensive storage, and that is not always a good thing. So I really think something like the Veeam Ready program is a really good way to gate the validity of putting your backups on there. So let me switch over here, and then if we have the opportunity, Katie, one of the producers, can push out the link here. I want to introduce everyone to these Veeam Ready programs. So the Veeam Ready programs are actually a really good way. All four of these categories: Veeam Ready Object, Veeam Ready Object with Immutability, ++ there, as well as Veeam Ready Tape, and then Veeam Ready base repositories. These are, the different qualification levels that go with these programs. And so let me show you how to navigate this, because a lot of times, Kirsten, I'll just ask you, if you think of object immutable storage, what's the first thing you think of?
I would say probably like AWS.
Exactly. AWS, great partner. But you know what? Let me show you how to navigate this. If you go to this category here and select Veeam Ready Object with Immutability, we can actually zoom into the individual alliance partners, and there are 21 still having fun. 21 of those that have the qualification of Veeam Ready object with immutability. And what I like about this, Kirsten, is that some of these are actually most of these are on-premises unified storage systems like the Hitachi Vantara, the Dell ECS, right? MinIO, NetApp Storage Grid, right? These all, can be on-premises deployments as well. And, this is actually just really built into Veeam's DNA of having partnerships and stuff and on Nutanix objects. And then, just next page. And guess what? There's more. Object First, Quantum, RStore, SoftIron, Stonefly, Wasabi. That's another really good one in the public cloud. And what's really cool, Kirsten, did you know about this right here? The read more.
I always know about read more.
You always know about read more. Well, you can get the KB, what versions and some details, etc. So I think that's really important. And these categories all repeat, and so if I would take away immutability, for example, you'll see there's 33. And this is actually really important because not every object storage is fully compatible with Veeam's immutability, right? So the details matter, so you can always check that out. And same for the repository, base storage resources. We have quite a few. I actually think there's more than 100. Maybe it's just showing the first 100, right? And then, is this thing dead? No, Dave Russell says not. That's right. I mean, we get the question all the time about tape, right? I mean, it still happens.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it something the other day. It was like, you'd be like, if you're in an interview or something and you record the interview, it's on your phone. But if you want to keep that recording forever, you got to put it on tape.
Well, you can use the cloud. Now you're trying to start a fight here with me? Come on.
You can use the cloud, but you can also put it on tape. That's also an option. And tape is probably cheaper because I know too, like my iPhone storage, my iPhone cloud or whatever, sorry, I need to upgrade, and my upgrade is like $30 instead of my now standard like $3 a month. So
there's the demands are real for storage, and object immutability is one of the key technologies we have. But let's talk about probably the coolest innovation of recent. Introduce us, Kirsten, to the VHR, the Veeam Hardened Repository.
Yeah, so the Veeam Hardened Repository was introduced in, I think, the most recent version, and it basically works on a Linux distribution, and it's just a secure place where backups can be stored and configured to be immutable for a period of time. So this allows you to have a write once, read many option, and really helps, strengthen that resilience against like vicious actors, whether it be, ransomware, maybe accidental deletion, insider attack. So really, before the hardened repository, we would use object storage with immutability, and you would be able to set that immutability period on that object storage. But now we're giving you that option as well with the hardened repository, so you can use that as your performance extent. So really giving you immutability from end to end when it comes to your scale-out backup repository.
Preach. I love it. And so this little picture, a little cheeky comment here. Do you recognize at least the place, right? That's right there in the office. So best practice, you're not supposed to put rack mount servers on top of cube material. But I did something really special, Kirsten. And this is only going out to the Friday Tech Bites crowd. You're here, you're getting something very exclusive. This QR code goes to a secret YouTube video that I've done that starts with a rack mount server on a desk in the office. And I walk you end to end through how to configure the Sober. This is kind of like secret Friday Tech Bites stuff here. Now, why is it so secret? Well, because in V12, we're going to update how it's deployed a little bit. So I was kind of hemming and hawing on how I will repurpose this, but I'm going to do a new kind of guide for this. But you have an opportunity right now. If you're like, oh, I like the idea of immutability, but I don't know Linux, right? I walk you through everything, including the help desk center, the commands, and you can zoom in and get, exactly what I'm doing. Now, the one thing I didn't quite finish the loop on one thing, but this will absolutely get you started. So if you don't have any immutable copies right here, and then I think there you go. Thank you, Katie, for pushing out that short URL as well to that private YouTube link. So good stuff, good stuff. And I just got word from the producers that second view of the map is ready. So let's take a look at that. Let's zoom into North America. We got Texas in the house, big Tex. I love it. Minnesota. And we also have added Arizona, even though I already had it. Sorry, I got Nevada mixed up. I called it Nevada. So sorry. We've added Spain over in EMEA, and then we'll go back to South America and welcome Peru. Thank you for tuning in, and back over and really strong today in Africa, Botswana and Egypt, and then we've added Pakistan as well. So great offerings here, and if I missed it, really, Joe says Linux is his thing. So a big thanks for that. You know what, Joe? Hit me up on LinkedIn, if you want to help me make these guides better, because I'm not a Linux expert, but I'm working off some of the resources I have. If you want to help me make the next version of that better, just, bug me. I'd love to have some help on that. All right, Kirsten, that's a quick run of what we've got, but we had a little surprise, didn't we?
Yeah, we not only wanted to tell you what we have now, but we also want to talk to you about what's coming in the future.
So probably the biggest capability coming in Veeam backup and replication is direct to object storage. Tell us about that, Kirsten, before I jump into the demo.
Cool. So yeah, direct to object storage is something that our customers have been asking for ever since we allowed them to use object storage within the capacity tier and the archive tier. And now you're basically going to be directly able to send your backup straight to object storage without it having to land on a performance extent first.
Indeed. So let me jump into the demo here. So I'm actually going to start taking a look in the backup infrastructure, right? So for those of you new to Veeam, oh no, I lost my Zoom It. I can't function without my Zoom It. Did you know that, Kirsten?
Yeah, and you are a Zoom It Pro, so
oh my gosh, I don't know what I have broken my demo. So I have Zoom It on the parent session, but not on the actual. You know what? I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to fix it. We are live. And when I say live, I mean like live. So I'm going to go to you're going to see how I roll. I have this interlab and share. Well, Mark, the producer, is really good. So he kind of moved the camera. So thank you for that, Mark. All right. We're back in. So Mark, we are ready to go back. All right, so what we're looking at here is the backup infrastructure. And, what we were just talking about, Kirsten, were all the different types of backup repositories, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got a real simple one where I have a S3 compatible, and actually this particular one is S3 integrated. So a little hat tip to something else we're coming up with on V12 is a smart object storage API that really does just next level stuff with object storage. But a real simple deployment. Everything's going, this is an on-premises object storage device and appliance, and I have a C drive as well, but I only am using that for non-backup image things. So I want to zoom into this backup job because it is in a way not too exciting because it's what we know. I've just given it a name, direct to object storage, right? So that's just a sample job name. And then if you've ever used Veeam before, so far so familiar. I've got virtual machine backups, and I got 3 of them. You can have tags, you can have whole data stores, whole sites, clusters, etc. And then the magic happens right here. Where are we putting these backups? And the backup repository is the first stop going directly to an object storage resource. So I can go down and put the backups like we've done before in these other different types of repositories, but it's really straightforward. It is so easy and it's very efficient. And we still, if we wanted to, can use the scale out backup repository to get all of the benefits of archive and stuff and more. So, and the best part is, Kirsten, is it's just totally transparent. It just sits here in the interface like all of the different restore points, and what's better, I can restore. So if I was to go and drive a restore, and it's also important to note that all the restore types are in place. You don't lose anything with object storage being that first target. Let's just pick something. I'll pick the entire VM. And basically when I go to browse it from those backups, it just sits transparently. So when I have object storage in the mix, if you're familiar with Veeam, nothing changes. That's just a quick demo, and it's actually not that exciting because it's really a transparent target that sits with our backups. And I just wanted to give you that quick preview that this is by far the most anticipated new capability of Veeam backup and replication. And then I'm really happy to share that with you guys. So, quick little peek. We did preview that at VeeamON. If you're a Veeam customer or partner, maybe ask for the beta, right? Give this a whirl in your environment and see if this works for you. So anything to add, Kirsten? I'm going to pick up on a question here from Tommy in a second.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it does, like what you said, it's not going to take any type of extra configuration really to add it to your backup infrastructure and get going, sending your backups to the repositories. Now, I know that you showed me a backup job, but going directly to object storage, but can you also send like backup copy jobs, replicas to object storage?
Backup copy jobs, yes. Replicas, no. Because the replica we'd need the moment VMware and Hyper-V start supporting object storage, we'd probably look at it, because the replica has to be that image based. And question from Tommy from TO up in Canada. Yeah. Tommy says, does direct to object storage support immutability? Yes. And that is a beautiful thing. And it also applies to like NAS backups now. So NAS backups can go directly to immutable targets that are object storage as well, in addition to the VHR. So that's going to be coming in V12, right? But like we have this hashtag immutability everywhere thing going on. So that's going to be pretty cool. So good one. Oh, I got to give a big welcome to Jeff Burke from Toronto as well. The notorious KGG Vanguard legend, super great resource. Works at Sunati, Canada. Hey, that's right. Yeah. Hey, I don't have it right now, but usually I got a Tim's right here. We have that here in Central Ohio. Awesome. Hey, Kirsten, thank you so much for rocking the show with me here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, quick preview for Monday's show. Jason and Dave on the Industry Insights are going to host Corinne from the product strategy team to really focus on kind of what's important and needs to be known about Veeam backup for Microsoft 365 version 6A that released yesterday. So 6A, very important for the Teams export API if you're doing Teams backup. And there's actually some action required now. I dropped that over in the community recap hub, the Veeam community recap number 85. We talked about that and we got some links as well. And Nazar asks about, what about the hybrid cloud? Well, Nazar, that example I just did was on premises. So hybrid ready for sure. And then also a week from today, I think, is it me and you back, Kirsten, for the next one?
Yeah, we're back talking about Veeam backup for Microsoft Azure. So pretty exciting stuff. I'm excited to talk again to you guys on Fridays, like the highlight of my Fridays.
We're going off script, Kirsten. All right, I got my Canada Challenge coin from Atlantic Security Conference. Okay, 10th anniversary this year.
Oh wow!
We've been up in Canada. So do you want Maple Leaf or 10? Heads or tails? You want Leaf or 10? We're going to decide who's driving the demo next week.
Okay, I'll go Maple Leaf.
All right. Anybody want to say who should drive the demo? Should it be Kirsten or should it be Rick? Maybe drop in the comments. Let's see. Maple Leaf, you pick, and if you win, you get to say who drives the demo. You get a 10, so I pick who gets to drive the demo. I didn't live it, or I didn't hack it. But let me know in the comments who should drive it, Kirsten or Rick, on the demo. And what are we demoing? We're deploying Veeam backup from Microsoft Azure through the marketplace, right? Just starting from nothing and deploying it out. Maybe a couple comments coming in. Should it be Kirsten? Should it be Rick? We'll see. So Kirsten has a Zoom It game too, by the way.
Mine is a little bit shaky, but
shaky.
Practice makes perfect.
Indeed. We try to get it going. So maybe we'll just take this one offline. I'm seeing one vote for Kirsten and one vote for Rick. So maybe her and I will talk privately about that. She doesn't like surprises. She likes to prepare. All right. Well, a big thank you to Mark and Katie, our marketing team. I tell you, Mark puts the mark in marketing, but they are driving this show and they provide an outstanding operation for us and they make it easy for us. And thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.